Hello Mouses! Welcome back to the Knob Mouse Show. I've been away because I was actually standing for election. I didn't win, it happens, but I got 486 votes, which is pretty good for a Conservative in a Labour stronghold when you're standing for the first time, and an awful lot of people are slightly against trans people, and I happen to be a trans person, so there were factors. It worked out very well. I enjoyed my time, it was a good experience, and I hope to be able to stand again. But that's not really what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about today is actually the Queen's speech, and specifically some of the bills that have been announced. Now, there are a number of things that have gone on. The idea of annuities, the new rules on pensions, things like that. That's all great. It's going to make a lot of changes. But what I really want to talk about, first of all, is the Modern Slavery Bill. Now, this was announced by the Conservative Party a few months ago at our spring conference, and it received a massive round of applause. It's a great idea. Modern rules for dealing with trafficking and enslavement. Rules that say that if someone has been forced into slavery and then forced to commit a crime, they won't be prosecuted as a criminal because they didn't have control of what they were doing, they were being forced to do it. This is great news. I think we can all get behind how good an idea that is. So, bringing all those rules up to date, getting everything codified into one law, that is fantastic news. I'm going to applaud that one. Similarly, something that we can all applaud is this new bill on protecting people who are acting heroically in the society's interest. So anyone who has read law will know that there is certain protections already put in place for anyone acting heroically. There's like a heroes clause in certain things. But this goes further and adds further protections to make sure that if you're acting heroically and someone gets hurt, for example, you're pulling someone out of the way of a speeding train, but they get cuts and scrapes or maybe break their arm in the process, you're not going to get charged for hurting that person because you acted heroically in the best interests of society. It's a social justice thing. So I'm going to applaud that. It's a good idea, and I want to see the specifics on it to see just how far this will go. Another one, keeping in the theme of criminal responsibility, more rules and regulations on dealing with organised crime. So if you're knowingly part of an organised crime ring, that will now be a criminal offence. That is fantastic. So you can get anyone just by being part of the group. This is good news. It's a great way of dealing with just organised crime in general. And something else that I forgot to mention with the slavery bill, which kind of works into organised crime as well, is the news that now we're going to have tougher regulations on dealing with anyone who's doing a criminal offence at sea. So you get pulled over by a patrol boat, or the Royal Navy picks you up or something like that. They've got better ways of getting in and dealing with your organised crime despite the fact that you are out at sea. Because at the moment we have this idea of, international waters, there's no rules and regulations. No, international law still exists, and we can now deal with it harder. So that's great news. And the final one I want to talk about, and I'll put a link in the description bar below so you can see all of the ones that have been announced in the Queen's speech, but the final one I want to talk about is the new right of recall for MPs. This is well overdue. I've been asking for this for years. A lot of other people, and MPs included, have been asking this for years, and a lot of people got on the bandwagon when they saw just how bad the problem was during the expenses scandal. When this bill goes through, and I hope it does go through, MPs who are convicted of a criminal offence and who go to jail will automatically trigger by-elections because there'll be a recall process for dealing with that MP. So anyone who went to prison for expenses and didn't have to step down, they just went, did their time, came back out, and my goodness, you're still an MP. We couldn't recall you for being a criminal, but you can't stand again because you're a criminal. That's like, okay, that needs dealing with. That's just ridiculous. So I'm glad that's been dealt with. But also, as in addition to this, is something that I think is really good. If an MP is caught with gross misconduct, then their constituents will be able to put together a petition, and if you can get 10% of the constituents to sign it within 8 weeks, then there's a by-election and you can get rid of that MP. So that is fantastic news. Power to the people who actually should be responsible for dealing with the power of MPs, the voters. That is great. I love this one. It's something that has been long overdue. It's a proper right of recall, and now the actual people who matter can actually exert some power. We've got the control back that we needed, because it's gone too far to London and now it's coming back to the people. That is good news, so I'm really, really pleased with that one. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that's come out. It looks like this final year of this government is going to be very interesting, and I'm hoping to see just what the details of all of this are when the individual bills come into Parliament. So anyway, that's all I really want to talk about today. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you did like this. If you did, remember to click the like button, share it with your friends so that they can see what's been going on in the world as well, and do subscribe for future videos because there will be more in the future. But until next time, I've been Kirk-Robinson, you've been watching the Knob Mouse Show. It's good to be back, and I'll see you tomorrow.